How you guys doing today? Today we're going to be breaking down UFC 328, Strickland versus Chimaev. The fight is taking place in Newark, New Jersey. There's been a lot of crazy exchanges like already happening, a lot of bad blood, a lot of beef on the line, and this is just going to be a crazy fun fight week, crazy fun card to break down. So let's get right into it. First fight we're going to be breaking down on the card is Clayton Carpenter versus Jose Ochoa. I've seen a lot of people picking Jose Ochoa in this matchup, but I'm going to stick with Clayton Carpenter. I think his wrestling will get it done. I think will take down Jose Ochoa multiple times, threaten submissions, just get the win by decision. And I think he'll evade the big shots. So that's my prediction. Next fight I'm breaking down is Baisengur Kayev versus Dejorin Santos. In this one, I'm going to go with Kayev. I know everybody's just picking him because he's Hamzat's training partner, and I actually think this is a really dangerous matchup for him. I think Dejorin Santos could easily win this fight, but I think Kayev is just going to keep his undefeated record, keep the plot armor going, and he'll probably beat Dejorin Santos by a close decision, honestly. Pat Sabatini versus William Gomes. I'm just going to go with Pat Sabatini. I think William Gomes is going to need a knockout to win this fight, whereas Pat Sabatini is always going to win by decision with his wrestling because he has good enough striking on the feet to match William Gomes' pace on the feet and also just get the takedown. I think he'll get the takedown, maybe once or twice. And William Gomes isn't the highest output guy. He's not the biggest finisher. Neither is Pat Sabatini. But I think when you're going to decision striking versus going to decisions for wrestling, I think the guy who wrestles more is probably going to win that fight. So that's where I'm going with Pat Sabatini. Next fight on the card, Lucas Tracy's favorite fighter, Roman Kopylov, versus Marco Tulio. Honestly, it's a coin flip matchup for me. Both these guys are really good. Well, for the middleweight division, they're up there when it comes to the unranked guys. I think it's a coin flip. I think it's a 50-50 fight. Call me a fence sitter all you want. But I'll go with Roman Kopylov. I think you know, he's he's got good kicks. Paulo Costa's kicks were just better in that fight, and he just looked good striking. Like what he did to Chris Curtis was impressive. So yeah, that's why I'm gonna go with Roman Kopylov. He's just been more impressive. Jim Miller versus Jared Gordon. Um, this is another 50-50 fight. I mean, both guys are pretty old. Jared Gordon's 37, Jim Miller's 42. Sorry. They're both like kind of win one, lose one type of guys. Sometimes they'll go on a run where you think, oh, is he going on a run? Is he going to. And then they'll just lose to another unranked guy, and, the cycle continues. But I don't know. I feel like Jim Miller has been more impressive on the ground, like as of late. Like, I guess the most impressive thing he's done was not get finished by Chase Hooper. I don't know. As of late, I'm gonna just go with. I'll just go with Jared Gordon. I think he'll land the bigger shots on the feet, and that's ultimately what it's gonna come down to. Both these guys have really, really good grappling, counter wrestling, counter scrambles, good jiu-jitsu. They have all that, so that's why I'm gonna go with Jared Gordon because he's slightly younger, um, slightly less washed, and good for it on the feet. He can land a crafty big hook. So so can Jim Miller, but I just favor Jared Gordon. I feel like maybe his speed is still there as to whereas Jim Miller's much more withered, taking a lot more damage. Grant Dawson versus Mateusz Rebecki. Dude, this is the easiest pick. I'm going to go with Grant Dawson. I mean, Mateusz Rebecki does not have like fight-ending power like Manuel Torres. He's more of a volume guy. Like he's gonna flood you. He's gonna try to break you. And bro, nobody's breaking Grant Dawson unless you got like a serious heat in your hands, crazy power. Like I thought Carlos Diego Ferreira would be able to kind of outgrid him and TKO him later in the fight, but when Dawson gets started, like he's on. Like I think he's gonna show Mateusz Rebecki a side of grappling he's never seen before. Take him into deep waters, beat him up with ground and pound. Don't see him getting a submission in this fight because this guy's submission defense is crazy. But yeah, I would say Grant Dawson, easy decision. Yoel Alvarez versus Yaroslav Amislov. I'm going to be honest, nobody knows anything about Amislov really that is just like a casual UFC fan, or not even a casual, like a hardcore who just watches the UFC. They don't know anything about this guy, so I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I do either. This guy what was he, a PFL or Bellator fighter, something like that, and he beat up Neil Magny, and that doesn't tell me much about you. I think Joel Alvarez is going to get this one done in the first round, maybe with like a flying knee or an elbow. I know he didn't get a finish in his last fight, but he was up against somebody who's really crafty, who's been in the UFC, who's had some dog fights. Maybe he was just seeing something that we weren't, where he couldn't get that finish. But I think in this one he'll find it. He's really dangerous. So yeah, I'm going with Joel Alvarez. Ateba Gautier versus Ozzy Diaz. Man, we all want Ozzy Diaz to win, bro. We're all going out there rooting for Ozzy Diaz. We want Ozzy Diaz to get that finish, man. Should be able to, most likely. Get Ateba Gautier out of there. There's a reason the UFC wants this matchup. Because they know that Ozzy Diaz got something that Ateba doesn't. And they're putting this matchup on for a reason, I promise you. And it's because Ozzy Diaz... Nah, I'm just kidding, guys. Ateba Gautier is going to knock out Ozzy Diaz in the first round. He's going to finish him. I know he didn't finish... was it Robert Brychek or something? People are going to say, bro, you don't know. Robert Valentin? I don't remember who he fought. Someone like that. Somebody named Robert or somebody. And yeah, he didn't get the finish, but that guy was pretty good with his kicks. So yeah, Ozzy Diaz is probably going to go out there and box with Ateba Gautier, get knocked out. My man King Green versus Jeremy Stevens. Bro, I'm going to go with Jeremy Stevens in this one. I know. People are going to be like, Jeremy Stevens hasn't been fighting good competition, blah, 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 blah. King Green, I don't know. I just feel like his chin, he just doesn't... It kind of reminds me of like the Drew Dober matchup. I thought Drew Dober was going to lose that fight, and then he just gets knocked out. That's kind of what it's given me. I think Jeremy Stevens is going to get his big KO. So, yeah, that's what I'm picking. Jeremy Stevens by KO. Sean Brady versus Joaquin Buckley. I'm going to go with Joaquin Buckley in this one, dude. I don't think Sean Brady will be able to get him down that easily. I think he's probably been in the gym going crazy, just wrestling. And I know if Sean Brady does get him there, he can... If Sean Brady gets him to the ground, it's over for Joaquin Buckley in that round. But I think he could TKO him in the third round. Like, I think he'll start melting him, start stuffing the takedowns, and just think he'll melt Sean Brady a little bit and TKO him in the third round. So that's my pick. Alexander Volkov versus Waldo Cortez Acosta. Guys, I think Volkov is... I think Volkov is done for in this one, guys. I know a lot of people are picking Volkov because he beat Pavlovich. You guys got to remember that Pavlovich and Volkov trained together, and they trained together when Volkov was, high up in his career. Pavlovich was down here. There's a lot of mental aspects that were going on in that fight. You could tell Pavlovich was uncomfortable being in there with him. Waldo Cortez Acosta is not uncomfortable in any type of fighting situation. This guy is so comfortable in there, man. Like, he finds the finish. He always gets it. And if he doesn't, man, like, I think he put up a good fight against Pavlovich. And Pavlovich is like a really dangerous guy. Alexander Volkov, he has tools. He has like moves. He has things that can hurt you, but it's not the same type of power. It's not like it's the elbows, it's the knees, it's the kicks that you got to watch out for. And I don't think Waldo Cortez Acosta is folding, man. I think he's getting this KO, man. I think he's going to get a second round KO. Joshua Van versus Tatsuro Taira. Man, everybody's making me want to pick Taira, man. Everybody's been telling me, bro, you don't understand, bro. He's learned so much from the Royval fight. His striking is so much improved. Look what he did to Brandon Moreno. But, bro, I can't lie and just think that Joshua Van is going to whoop that ass. Like, am I the only one that thinks that? Like, I just feel like Joshua Van is gonna get in there. He's gonna stuff the takedowns and he's gonna put belt to ass. But I don't know what you guys think. I know a lot of people are probably gonna call me delusional, just a fanboy, or say I'm a fan. And yeah, maybe I am a little bit of a fan, but Tyra has no aura, man. He's gonna get mogged. He's gonna get mogged, guys. Gonna get mogged by Joshua Van over 5 rounds. He's gonna get pieced up. He's gonna be looking uncomfortable. His takedowns aren't gonna land. Maybe 1 or 2 lands in the first 3 rounds, but after that third round, bro, I feel like Joshua Van's gonna be on point with the takedown defense. He's gonna know where everything's coming from, and I think he's just gonna maybe melt him. Maybe get a late finish. Who knows? But I'm gonna go with Joshua Van by decision. Hamzat Chimaev versus Sean Strickland. This is a really interesting fight. It could get interesting in the later rounds, but for the most part, I'm just gonna pick Hamzat Chimaev to land big punches, get takedowns in round 1 and 3. And Sean Strickland, maybe he does win the fourth and fifth, but they're going to be close, and he's probably not even going to win those on all 3 judges' scorecards. He's not the most liked guy. Chimaev, I think he brings a lot of money for the company. Um, yeah, I'm going to go with Hamza Chimaev to win a 5 round decision over Sean Strickland. Maybe some people scream robbery. But, yeah, I just think that Hamzat's going to get him, man. I think he's good for it over 5 rounds. And I don't think Sean Strickland. I think he'll be landing his jab. I think he'll be landing that teep, pushing him back. I think he'll probably get some combos going up against the fence, but that's when Chimaev's just gonna clinch, go for a takedown. And Sean Strickland is a crafty guy. He's not going to be the type to be shucking him off and pushing him off and trying to land big punches. No, he's going to try to break the grips. He's going to be trying to work in that clinch himself to land knees. He's not going to go for it crazy like you guys think. I know this is his last chance, but he doesn't want to get finished by Hamzat Chimaev either. So that's why I'm going Hamzat, 5 round decision. Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned. Hopefully we could do a full card breakdown after this card happens. See you guys in the next video.